What's up everybody, Matt Moran here in my garage, and I wanted to do a video here showing you some of the night features of the Bullet and also do an in-depth walkthrough in the gauge clusters here, the digital gauge cluster, which is introduced in the 2018s but is also in the 2019s and is standard in the Bullet. So I realize it's not nighttime, but this is the only time I was able to film this video. So the basic stuff, you probably are familiar with the S550. When you unlock the car, the lights turn on in the front there, the little accent lights, and then these lights in the back, of course. And even though this is a Bullet, there are still a couple of ponies that show up. You still get the pony projection lamps down here whenever you unlock the car, which is a very cool thing, that projects out of the side mirrors there. And it might be a little bit brighter too for the 2018 and ups, I'm not sure, but anyway, glad to see those retained, because it still is a Mustang, and I do like seeing pony emblems even if there isn't one in the grille. But we'll open it up. Another difference you'll see that you usually get, the ambient lighting here. You can see I have it green as in the door handles there. You'll also see it in the cup holders here and also in the floor. It also illuminates green, but there isn't illuminated door sills. That's something that they changed on the Bullet here, so you just have the metal instead. And as you can see, it's actual metal, feels really nice. But not illuminated. Not a big deal. I actually don't miss it at all, but just something worth noting. But we'll go ahead and just turn on the accessories here. You'll see the very cool startup screen. Sometimes, depending on how quick it is to boot up, sometimes you'll see more of the gauge sweep there, and then but you see the unique Bullet startup where you have the green Mustang there that flashed for a brief second. But, so you have the digital gauges here. I have it on the fuel economy. By the way, the check engine light is flashing because whenever you have any vehicle in the accessory mode, the check engine light comes on and usually flashes. So that's what that is now. It's steady. Nothing wrong with the car. It goes away once you start it up. But before anyone comments, I just wanted to address that. So yeah, the digital gauges, I kind of went over this in my 2018 GT review. So, if you want to, see a shorter version of this, you can go watch that. But I'm going to go through every single menu because I know whenever I was looking at the 2018 and up Mustangs and was interested in the digital gauges, there wasn't any kind of thorough walkthrough. There was always the highlights, but nothing that was actually showing you every single menu. So I want to show you every single menu. So you have here the pony button on the steering wheel, which is new for the 18 and up. So first we have My Mode, which is the top thing here when you hit the pony button, and that shows you just the custom drive mode you can have set up. My Mode, I just have it so it's track, exhaust, and everything else is normal, but you can have that so you can have everything customized exactly how you want it. Next thing is the exhaust mode, which you can have quiet, normal, sport, track, and then if you scroll down you'll see the quiet start, and that's the so-called good neighbor mode that Ford has introduced to the 2018s with the active exhaust. So I have mine scheduled to do a quiet start up anytime between midnight and 8 a.m. and that way if you have to leave at 3 a.m. for something, you don't wake up any neighbors, which is a very considerate thing for those of you that want to be considerate. So that's the exhaust modes there. You have track apps, which is about the same as it is in any other Mustang here from 2015. It's just a little bit of a larger display here with the gauge cluster, but you can measure 0 to 60 times, all that kind of stuff. I haven't done any of this yet, so it'll all be blank, and that also puts it into the track mode there for the gauge cluster, which you can see. I have mine set up so that it defaults to not be in that track mode. I have the standard gauge set up always, even if I'm in Sport Plus mode. I like the traditional 2 round things. I know a lot of people really like the new gauge setup here, which I'll show in a second. Performance shift indicator. I have to play with this a little bit because I'm not honestly too familiar with this, since all the other 2018 and up Mustangs I've reviewed were automatics, but you can have this so that it'll give you a shift point. You can have a shift tone and a shift light mode, so you can kind of have that alert you to various different things there. Just again old school and just like looking at the gauges. Launch control, you can set that up. Rev match, now that's a new feature for 2019 here on both the Bullet and all 2019 Mustang GTs get the rev match. I don't think it's on the EcoBoost. Only the GTs with the manual, of course, gets the rev match, and that's how you turn that on and off. You have the gauges, and you can configure the My Gauges, so you can set up which gauges you want to show. You can see air-fuel ratio, axle oil temp, cylinder head, engine oil pressure, inlet air temp, vacuum, and voltage. Unfortunately, I would like to see an engine oil temperature or also a transmission oil temperature. The transmission oil temperature you get on the automatics, but not on the manuals here. But those two that I have, you can see them there. for axle oil, and then for the cylinder head temperature. So, you know, it's nice if you want some additional gauges there. Going back to the Pony menu, you have My Color here. And so this is where you set, you know, the colors for the different things. So this is for the primary color. You can see there it changes basically the shadowing and also the fuel and coolant. You can see how that changes. That's what primary is. Secondary here, we'll obviously do the rings and stuff like that if you want to change that to whatever you want. Now, I thought that there was going to be a dark Highland green color for this. That's what I originally read or heard, but that's not the case. There is no unique colors for the Bullet, but you can go into My Color, and this is how, you know, you can customize and do any kind of color you want there for that. So, you know, you can kind of mix your own color if you want a darker green. I think that's, you know, something you can do, but I actually really like the way it looks with just the regular green there. And then this is cluster appearance. So this is where you can have it change with the drive mode. You can have sport, and then that we'll back out of it. We'll show you that, which is cool. I don't know, I like the idea of a tachometer kind of going downwards for the just kind of a traditional look. But anyway, you have that, and I'm sure you guys have all seen, you know, track has the bar there, which is also cool if, you know, you like that look. But I personally just have it saved and frozen into normal mode. And so, like I said, you can have it changed by drive mode, and then, you know, it'll just vary depending on what driving mode you're in. But I really like those, the way they're set up. I like the animations, the transitions and everything are all very cool on that. So that's a cool feature here. You have music with the audio off. We'll turn the audio on here. We have copyrighted music, so I'll turn that off. But you know, with it, you know, playing here, you can kind of go through, and all this does is you can change radio stations through here instead. And so that's basically all that does. Otherwise, you can see it'll show you the track there in the upper portion. I really like that because it'll show you your track and also your temperature for outside there on the left hand, and then your compass on the right and the top there, which is good if you're running Apple CarPlay, where that dominates the entire you know, center screen here. It's nice to, you know, also still be able to have ambient temperature and stuff without backing out of CarPlay. So I really like that for that reason alone. And then you have you press the nav button here on the steering wheel, and then that's how you can also you know, configure all that stuff. I honestly haven't even played with the navigation system at all yet. Still, I've just been too busy enjoying the drive. But that's how you do that. And then there is the settings here, and this is how you go to your trip information, all that type of stuff. So you can scroll through with the up-down arrows here for your tire pressures, and then just the basic, you know, trip information or fuel economy, which is you know, nice to have that. You can also, you know, set up your driver assistance stuff. You know, I have the electronics package, so I get the blind spot and the cross traffic alert, hill start assist, of course, for starting so you don't roll back, and so all those basic things again you see and are familiar with from other Mustangs. You have advanced settings for vehicle, you know, as far as what lights up. Easy entry exit is with the power seats. You know, they can slide forwards and backwards every time you get out of the car if you want. I personally don't like that, so I have that all off. But yeah, so, you know, all the basic stuff there. My key, you can kind of customize that, you know, for if you have someone else driving the vehicle. Display, you can, you know, change the units, all that type of stuff. And so that's basically it as far as this gauge cluster goes. But one other thing I do want to show, though, is these center gauges here. So this is part of anyone who has a Performance Pack 1 or 2 GT. These are old news, but this is new to me since I've never had Performance Pack, and these also do come standard on the Bullets. I believe only in the United States. It sounds like the guys overseas, you unfortunately don't get these gauges for whatever reason. But one cool thing with them is that they do reflect the ambient lighting color. So whenever I turn on the lights, you can see that those actually change to the same color as everything else, you know, with the cup holders and all that type of stuff. But yeah, so anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed this little tour of the gauge cluster. Let me know your thoughts about it in the comments below, and subscribe for many more Mustang Bullet videos to come here very soon. Thanks for watching, and take care.